Good morning and welcome to Kramer's Corner with Daily Technical Update. It is Thursday, the 26th of February. This video is for educational purpose only. There's no recommendation or advice whatsoever intended. It's purely to demonstrate how I try to read the markets, what tools I use, and indicators and such to try to read the market, how it is behaving, and giving that information to you. So it was the Nvidia day yesterday, and at first it was very well received by traders and investors, and the price shot up to around 203.5 after closing just here below that resistance but above this resistance, and RSI closed above 60 threshold, so basically confirming a bullish trend or establishing a bullish trend, but during the aftermarket trading and during the conference call with the CEO of Nvidia, it did slide back to around 198. So that will be quite interesting and key to watch. Where will it end tonight? Where will it trade tonight? What will it do? Will it be total collapse again, or will it be lifted? So it seems like there are some mixed feelings about, or mixed opinions about the earnings announcement from Nvidia. And of course that also spilled into the overall market, the Nasdaq market. Generally the market was up 1.4% yesterday. Nasdaq 100 just below the 55 moving average in the cloud here, and it still needs to get back above the cloud to establish a bullish trend, and RSI needs to get back above 60 thresholds to confirm that. And let's have a look at what actually took place with the future. You can see it shot up here during the market session and also after market, but here early morning it has set back a little bit. So the enthusiasm seems to have dampened a little bit of the earnings that came out from Nvidia. So it will be really interesting when market participants, analysts, and others have digested this earnings announcement. S&P 500 above the cloud, above 55 moving average, with a slightly bullish undertone, could continue here the next few days. Of course, Nvidia will play a big part in that. We have the S&P 500 future sitting back also a little bit, if it will come out from through the cables here. Yeah, here we are sitting, actually shot up overnight, but then you can see it set back a bit. So we should be cautious there. The Dow Jones also hovering around the rising trend line there, above the 55 moving average, still positive sentiment, and we are still in a bullish trend. I mean, with higher highs, higher lows. Will we get a higher high? That would be key. If we can take out this 50,000 level, that would be key for further upside. We are, as I said, slightly bullish trend. The small cap index a little bit higher yesterday, but not much to talk about, but still in an elevated state and still positive sentiment. So still keeping itself afloat here above the cloud and above 55 moving average. In Asia, the Hang Seng index had a bit of a rough day. It opened a bit higher, but then sellers took control throughout the session. But in the bigger picture, we are still a range bound between here 26,264 and 27,400. Sorry about that. Nikkei also sitting back a little bit there this morning, but still in a bullish trend. It is stretched, as you can see. The RSI values are declining. That's the strength indicator, is declining, so we are stretched there. But we did touch on, just peaked above 60,000, 60,070, but now sitting back a little bit, which is not a big surprise. Usually when you see these big round numbers there, then we also have sellers coming in and say, all right, that was it, and let's sell it. Europe, EuroStoxx50, quite strong yesterday, a new all-time high, new higher close. So fairly strong uptrend still, despite the fact that RSI, yes, it is showing positive sentiment, but it is also stretched. It's not as high here as it is over here. So a little bit, it could be influenced by what's going on in US the next few days, but let's see. I think we could see it pushing above 6,200, maybe a little bit higher. Pre-market, really not much here, so not much change. DAX index struggling a little bit in the DAX index, the German DAX index. So we are in a bullish trend with higher high, higher low, higher high, and higher low. Will we get a higher high? I think we will, but we need confirmation. But you can see all the moving averages here, they are rising. We are above the cloud, positive sentiment. I think we will see higher levels on the DAX fairly soon. The pre-market sitting back a little bit here. On the FX front, well, on some of the main pairs, not much to report. The euro dollar still trying to bounce here, needs to get back above this peak there at 118.35. If it does, 119 we'll be looking at fairly fast, but I think it will be a little bit of a struggle. But key support here at 117.40 and the falling trend line there. If we can get back here and towards the 119, then I think we will see the bullish trend playing out. And I still think we will do that on the medium to a little bit longer term higher euro dollar levels. But again, we want these levels to be taken out. Sterling dollar testing the steep falling trend line there, just around 50% of this sell-off there. Still positive sentiment on the RSI, which has already a few days ago broken above its falling trend line. I think we'll see it crawling higher here in the next few days. Euro sterling setting back here over the past few days. Not a big surprise after being rejected here at 87.45.50, and I think it will slide back ahead in the next few days, and then we could be caught in this range here, which we already caught in between 86.60 and 87.50. Yen pairs, on the other hand, a bit more action going on and has been going on lately. Strong bounce there in dollar yen, spiked above the 786 retracement into the cloud and then sitting back here overnight and could sit back further. RSI rejected a 60 threshold. So let's have a look at if you say maybe that was it, will it slide back? That would be key to what's here the next few days. Then we can add some Fibonacci levels, say, all right, then maybe it will slide back to 155. I wouldn't be surprised to see that because we have the 100 moving average coming up here, given the fact that we are still in a negative sentiment. To really extend or really re-establish a bullish trend, because this is just a counter trend, it needs to take out the peak from yesterday and continue higher, and also above 157.75. So I think we could see it sliding back and then stay range bound here in the area around 155 for some time. Euro yen above the cloud, above 61.8 retracement, above 55 moving average. Will it push higher to 185, the 786 retracement? I think it will, but look at this. RSI got rejected at the 60 threshold, which is actually key, that it needs to break above that and close above it to really stay this bullish trend here, or this bounce could continue into a bullish trend. It is actually a bearish trend. You can see lower high than here and lower low than here. So we are actually short term in a bearish trend. A lot of volatility, of course, a big range. So let's see, will it also slide back here? That will be key. I think we will push higher, but I want confirmation, to be honest. Aussie yen, new highs yesterday, sitting back a little bit here this morning in Asian session, but bullish trend remained and could continue higher towards 112, maybe 113. However, we can see, we talked about it for so long now, massive divergence on the RSI. We see it's declining there. Sterling yen, strong bounce over the past few days to the 61.8 retracement there at 212, just above the cloud. RSI rejected at 60 threshold, so that would be key here next to this. But first indication that we could push higher is here. If it takes out the peak from yesterday at 212 and a change, 212.10, then I think we'll see push up to 213.33, possibly higher, and we could also see RSI confirming that if it moves back above the 60 threshold in that process. And I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Moving on to Aussie dollar. The bounce already started when we talked, when we discussed this yesterday. Trading around the 786 retracement there at 71.18, which if it takes out the peak there just around 71.50, which there's a good chance it will, then I think we'll see it above 72 and 72 and a half. Positive sentiment. If it can get back above this horizontal line and drawn this peak here on the RSI, that will further confirm uptrend for Aussie dollar pair. Dollar Canada sliding slowly back. It will take some time, but negative sentiment telling us that we are likely to see lower levels. It was rejected there, the 55 moving average and the 137 and a quarter. I think it slowly will slide back here. If it takes out 135.85, then we are back in a bearish trend. Sterling Canada, really not much to report. Rejected there. We have all the moving areas. So bigger picture is basically just a sideways trading. Swiss franc, a lot of volatility on the Euro Swiss. But again, well, not that much, but some volatility, basically just range bound. So I can just repeat myself. We need to take out 90.80 down here to resume downtrend. So we are still in this range bound trading behavior. Dollar Swiss, it seems like it opened much lower this morning, but it's I have checked it and it seems to be some misprints there in Asian session. It might and it should be removed. So we are still above this support there. We are still trading around, and let's just add. Let's just do this. Then we can add some. Oops, I don't know what happened there. Let's do it again. Sorry about that. We can move up to. Oh, it's really not playing along at the moment. Maybe it's my mouse. Here we are. So look at this. It actually opened at the 786 retracement there at 76.50, but again it was so thin market overnight that I wouldn't trust it too much. So let's see if it starts sliding back again here. Then I think we could see these supports here coming under pressure. The dollar index, after being rejected 98 below the 55 moving average, negative sentiment on the RSI, I think we will see lower levels on the dollar index. Also, unless it suddenly takes out this strong resistance here around 98. On the metals front, it's been fairly quiet overnight given what has happened the past few weeks. Gold is still in this short-term range trading behavior here. I still believe we'll see it up to 53.40, this level up here, which is the 786 retracement of this massive sell-off. It is also around 176.4 projection of this correction here. It's just a pausing at the moment, still positive sentiment on the RSI, indicating likely higher levels. So again, but if it takes out the past few days lows there around 5,090, 93, then we could see it sliding back to test 5,000. So keep an eye on that, what's going on. But I think the uptrend will prevail. The silver 92.20 key resistance, very close to being tested. RSI needs to get back above 60 threshold for further upside potential. So let's see about that. We are above the cloud. We are above 55 moving average. I think we will see it will have a go at that 92.20 resistance there. Platinum tested the resistance there at 23.35 yesterday, then sat back a little bit. RSI didn't manage to get back above 60 threshold, and the falling trend line there. Let's remove this one, it's just noise. That is what we need. We need the RSI back above the 60 threshold and above the falling trend line. It could happen more or less on the same day. If it can establish itself above this 2,335, and I think it can if it takes out the peak from yesterday at 23.50. So really something to look out for there. I think we are in this bullish mode there. Copper crawling slowly higher, and it's still 611.55 a key resistance. Taking that out, especially with a close, then I think we'll see much higher levels on copper in the medium term. On the crude oil front, well, sitting back after breaking the resistance on the WTI. So sitting back, but we are still in a bullish trend, as we can see. So sitting back is not that big of a surprise. We can see a lot of volatility, a lot of spikes there. So a lot of uncertainty, but the underlying trend is bullish. I think we will crawl higher, unfortunately, because it will add to inflation if oil is more expensive. But that's how it is. Also here on Brent Crude oil, sitting back a little bit. I still believe we'll see it pushing higher. I'll remove this one here now. All right, moving on to European nat gas. Finding some support here just above 30 euros. I think it will slide lower here in the coming days and weeks. However, if it starts crawling back above 32.50, then we could see a go at the 35 level. So still, it's not over yet. We still have positive sentiment on the RSI. Didn't close below 40 threshold, so there's still a possibility for a return to the bullish scenario. On the other hand, we have the US nat gas, which is just sliding lower and lower. You can see day by day, just ticking slowly lower towards 260. And moving on to the interest rates and US Treasury yields. Well, we talked about yesterday. It bounced there, and now it's just trading around 4.05%. Could bounce all the way up to around 4.11, 4.12, but we are in a bearish trend. I think we'll stay range bound here around this level here for the foreseeable future, but with a bearish undertone. Moving on to the European yields, which are here. We are pausing a little bit here, just around the 270, and I think if that is it, then we will add a Fibonacci to this, so we can have some levels, so maybe a bounce out to around 260, 276, 277, but we are bearish, and it could drop to this 267, 260 for consolidation area. UK 10-year seems to be bouncing here, but also in a bearish trend, so that trend could resume anytime soon and be extended lower towards 420, but a correction up here to the 440 is not unlikely, but let's see. It is a big move, counter trend here, but yeah, keep an eye on that. If it takes out the lows, then we are looking at that too. Japanese 10-year bouncing from the 205 here a few days ago, keep bouncing towards the 117, the 2 retracement there. But short term, we are in a larger correction, but we are currently back above the 55 moving average. So let's see if it can bounce even further. But if it takes out the 204 here, well, then 2% could come under pressure. A little bit rally in Bitcoin yesterday. I'm not quite sure why it was. Maybe it was the expectation and the earnings from Nvidia that lifted a little bit, and the overall semiconductor industry was moving quite positive yesterday. We had the index up about 2%, so maybe that has been lifting it a little bit, but we are still in a bearish trend. The same picture on the Ethereum. So for Bitcoin, it is 60,000. That is the key support. For Ethereum, it's 1740. All right, that's all for today. Keep an eye on what's going on in US tonight with Nvidia and the semiconductor industry. That could be the guide for the next couple of weeks of trading. Keep charting out there and have a nice day.